Hello, hello, beautiful souls. My name is Lisa, and I am a self-love and self-empowerment coach, and I help women liberate themselves from societal standards and their own minds. And the thing that I've really been going through lately is all about boundaries and self-love, of course. Boundaries are a huge part of self-love. And really what I'm discovering currently is that boundaries have like this punishment kind of connotation, and it's really not that at all. It's like not about the other person at all. It starts with you, like, how do you talk to yourself? How do you treat yourself? Like, do you listen to your emotions? Do you feel your emotions, or do you invalidate them? And like, it all starts with you. Like, if you talk to yourself like, you're a piece of crap, that's how you're gonna allow other people to talk to you, because that's like how you see yourself. It's about worth. It's about knowing your worth. It's about knowing who you are and what you're willing to tolerate and what you deserve better than. So for me, like, it has been such a journey, like, figuring out who the fuck I am. Like, I was very go with the flow. I didn't know who I was. And you cannot have boundaries if you don't know who you are. If you don't know what you like and what you don't like, what you will tolerate, what you will not tolerate, what makes you feel good and what makes you feel icky. If you're invalidating what makes you feel icky, like, let's say going somewhere with a big, huge crowd of rowdy people makes you feel icky, but since there's a bunch of people there, you're like, well, like, it's wrong for me to feel this icky. Like, everybody else likes it, or, something like that. That's how we invalidate these feelings. And if you're invalidating that, you keep going to the places that make you feel icky because you're not listening to yourself, like, you're going to keep feeling icky. So learning how to know what you like. And sometimes you do. You go to places and you just don't really, like, vibe with it. That's a lesson, too, on what you don't prefer, So you don't have to keep going back there. That's your boundary, right? Like, but knowing who you are is so important. And it's such a journey. Like, it's such a journey. Knowing what you like, knowing what you don't like, and then learning how to express that. Expressing it's a whole nother ball game. Once you figure out who you are and what you stand for. And then when there's conflict or tension around that, and you have to, or you get to, express your opinion, it can be daunting. I know for me, it is like, it's very tense. Like, I feel like I'm going to puke, I'm shaking, I'm crying. It feels like I'm gonna die. So it's no wonder, why I went go with the flow, because it's certainly less uncomfortable. in the moment. But it becomes so uncomfortable being in your own skin whenever you're not you. You know, you're changing who you are just to fit wherever you're at, to keep the peace, you know, to fit in. You sacrifice yourself. And this is especially huge with motherhood, I've found. You know, going and doing what I like to do instead of constantly doing the things that everybody else wants to do. It's like so taboo. Like right now, I am on a trip. I invited everybody in my house. Nobody wanted to come, to go see my friend and hang out at the beach for a day, look at some sea turtles. You know, these things bring me joy. Nobody else in my house wanted to go, and that's fine. You know, there's responsibilities that need to be there, but it's like old me would have felt guilt about this. Old me probably wouldn't even do it because I would think I need to be at home, you know, watching sports all weekend, which I really, really do not prefer. So it's like that, you know, that's a boundary. Like, I'm gonna do what makes me feel good at least every once in a while. You know, I'm not saying don't care about your kids, you know, like, but you don't have to sacrifice who you are, you know? You get to still be you, and there is some sacrifice, you know, but it doesn't have to be Martyrville. You're not Jesus. Yeah, like, boundaries have been like a thing for me for the last month, and it's crazy. You know, you realize how many times a day you make yourself small to keep the peace. When you become aware of the things that make you feel icky and stop invalidating them. Like, I feel this way because I feel this way. It's not like punishment for anybody. It's just who I am. Like, take it or leave it. Boundaries are about knowing who you are and then expressing that authentically and vulnerably. And when the other person doesn't like it, that's okay. Like, that's okay. They've probably become accustomed to you being this version that self-sacrifices, and they'll either love you still for who you actually are, or you'll lose them. And if you lose them, well, it wasn't love in the first place. It was a very transactional thing where they were getting a lot out of you, you know, and you were getting something out of it too. Like, you're the fixer, you know, you want to fix them. Whenever you fix them, it makes you feel good, like you belong here. But that's not your job. Your job is to be you. And people may love it, people may hate it, and that's about them, not you. Learning how to feel safe in your body while you are holding your boundaries. And really, it's just about like, okay, I treat myself with respect. I treat myself with kindness. I love myself. So, you know, I treat my body well. I don't have negative self-talk. So when somebody else goes to talk to you like you're some dumbass piece of shit, you can be like, no. I don't believe that, and I'm not tolerating that. And then you can make your choice as to what you do. It's not about them. It's about what you're going to do. Like, I do not have conversations that are disrespectful. You know, if we're going to have a conversation, it needs to be healthy and respectful. And honestly, if you're having disrespectful conversations, how far do they go anyway? You know? They don't get you anywhere. It just digs you further in the hole. The toxic hole. So it's about knowing who you are, knowing what you stand up for. So the first step in this is learning who you are and learning how to treat yourself with respect and to validate yourself and to feel what you feel, because you can't learn who you are without that. Like, if you're lying to yourself and telling yourself that, you know, your problems aren't that big of a deal, or, you know, the feeling that you have doesn't really matter, like, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's really the first step, is learning who you are. Learning what you prefer, learning what you don't prefer, what you're going to tolerate, what you're not going to tolerate. And then you can make your decisions on what you're going to do when the boundaries are crossed. And it's like, you know, end the conversation, leave, you know, call in for support, whatever it may be. But that's how it works. And it's like, it's no wonder why so many of us struggle with it, because it's hella uncomfortable. And it's so different than the way we were raised to be and society wants us to be. So yeah, like, boundaries. I'm going to continue to talk about this as I'm going through it. You know, like, I will say that as I am starting to speak up and express boundaries, it's messy. You know, it doesn't always come out the way I want it to, and that's okay. I'm giving myself grace as I'm reflecting and learning how to do better in the future. But it's messy, and it's helping. It's helping so much. Like, things are changing, things are shifting, and I'm not as full of resentment as I once was. And that really, if you resent a lot in your, like, relationships with your kids, with your spouse, whatever it may be, maybe relations at work, if you're building up resentment, the resentment is a reflection of a boundary that was not put in place. It's because you made yourself small to make people happy around you, but it wasn't what you wanted. And then you just shove that down, and then that's resentment right there. So if you find yourself with a lot of resentment, ask yourself, like, how did I play a part in this? Like, what was my part? Something bothered me and I didn't speak up about it. That's your answer. What was that? And how can you speak up about it? And, like, for me right now, the struggle is, like, between being too aggressive and being passive aggressive, and learning how to do it in an assertive and loving way that's, like, out of self-protection and self-love, rather than, like, blame them for what they did. It's like, I just need to speak up and let my voice be heard. And what they do with it is fine. Then we'll figure out where we go from there. But at least I spoke up for myself. I'm not abandoning myself anymore. And that, like, it cuts your resentments. Whatever strings were there, they're cut. And then you start to trust yourself more. You know that you're safe with yourself because you are expressing yourself. You're protecting yourself. Like, you are the protector that was never there for you, you know? The reason that protector was never there for you is because it was you all along. And there's many things that lead to this, not wanting to express your boundaries. Like, I mean, it goes back generations, and then it's in your own life now. In the past, maybe when you've expressed yourself, it didn't go so well. You got punished for it. But it's like, you gotta keep on keeping on, right? Like, the song Won't Back Down by Tom Petty comes to mind. And it's like, oh, it's such a good song about boundaries. Like, yeah, I'm going to stand my ground. Even at the gates of hell, I won't back down. Because I know who I am. And I know that I deserve to be spoken for. And I think so many of us expect our spouses to do this for us. And they do to some extent, you know, but... or our parents, or our friends. It's up to us, though. It's up to us to stand our ground and not back down every single time someone crosses that line. We need to let them know. And that is how growth happens. Because if you're pretending to be something that you're not, first of all, they're not even like in love with you, or they're not in a relationship with you. They're in a relationship with this fictional thing that you think you need to be to gain their approval. You know? And approval is not love. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it.